This is the CAD 105 CREO final exam. You should be able to find the folder. It's in your sample files folder for the CAD 105 sample files. And you'll find final, just double click in there. You'll find everything you need inside this. There should be a PDF or a Word document you could open up, and you could see the instructions. And the instructions are model the 3D model the clock body with 100 points, create an assembly and made all the components as shown, and recreate the assembly drawing shown on page 3. Print it out and turn it in. So here is the clock body. You can see it's a little bit more detailed than what we worked on in the past with our midterm, but nonetheless it's not much more challenging. There's just a couple extra things to do on here. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we'll begin with that, then we'll assemble it as shown here and make this drawing. So to start off with, let's go ahead and create the clock body. The outer diameter is 8 inches, and it's going to be 0.75, so 3/4 of an inch thick. And it'll have a hole that's a 1/2 inch diameter through in the center. So start with a new part, and we'll call this the clock underscore body. Hit OK. Select the front plane for this one and start a sketch. Go to the front view orientation and proceed to sketch 2 circles. Go to the center and point circle. Draw out a large diameter there, and that's going to be 8 inches. And then draw a smaller diameter in the center, which is just 0.5. Now you can extrude that, so hit OK. Go to Extrude Boss, refit here, and it only gets extruded 0.75 deep. And hit Apply. Right away, it's a good idea to put the fillet on, or the round. Click on the round, and the round is going to be 0.25. Select the outer edge, and apply. Now select this face on the front and start a sketch. Draw the next diameter, which is 7 inches. And that gets extruded as a cut. If we go to Extrude, reverse it, and we'll have to look at the print for that, and the print identifies it as 0.125 deep. So 0.125, and remove material. Let's try to get 0.125, hit enter, and have it update. And the green check mark to apply. The next diameter we're going to have to create on here is going to be 6.5 inches. It's going to be another depth. In this case, from the 0 marker, which is the very front face, it's going to be a 1/2 inch deep. So make sure it'll be 0.375 in the event that you have to subtract 0.125. Okay, so in this case, to make things simple, I'm just going to go to Sketch and sketch on this little ledge right here. And draw my next circle, 6.5 from the center. Go to OK. Extrude. Remove material. Flip the direction. You could do that here. And that goes 0.5 deep from this front face, remember. If you're sketching from the recess that's on there, subtract 0.125 from it. And hit Apply. Now we could go ahead and select Sketch and draw in on this surface. I'm going to go to AB, normal to the front, and draw a circle at the 12 o'clock marker. And that's going to be 0.375 diameter, and it's going to be offset 2.5 inches from the center. And now you can hit OK and extrude that. It gets extruded only 0.1. Now we need to make the circular pattern. So you're going to have to turn on your axis display. And now you could go to select this feature here and go to the pattern. So make sure that's selected. You could go to pattern here and just select pattern. And over on the upper left, make sure it's select axis and select that center axis. There's going to be 12 markers, and so it's 360 divided by 12. You can hit enter. and it gives you 30 degrees. Hit the green check mark and apply. At this point you can turn off the axis display. So now the front of the clock's done. Now the back needs to be addressed. For the back of the clock, we can see here it's going to be 7.5 diameter, and it's just going to be 0.125 cut depth. So select sketch and select this back face. Start your sketch and draw the next circle at the center and make that 7.5. Go to OK and extrude, reverse it, remove material, and make sure this is set to 0.125 deep. Hit apply. If it cuts through, that's an indication that you have one of your depths off. Most likely it's that ½ inch deep for this level here, which you'd have to fix the extrude to by editing the definition of it and change it to 0.375 most likely. Okay, now we need to select this face again and start a sketch on that pocket, that recess. And I'm going to go to the, let's see, just rotate here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and select the centerline tool, draw off a vertical and a horizontal centerline. Draw a circle between those two and make it 0.25 for the diameter and 1 inch off each edge. Extrude that, so go to OK, go to extrude, and that gets extruded 0.25 high. Now we want to mirror that across. We could have used a sketch mirror as well. That would have been pretty easy. In this case, we just select the post, go to mirror, and you could select your right plane as a mirror plane and hit apply. Click on both posts holding control. Unfortunately, let's just do one at a time. Let's see if we could just select the mirror. Go to pattern, not pattern, cancel out there. Go to mirror and select the top plane. Mirror across. It's going to make us do this each one at a time unless we group them. But I'll go ahead and I'll just select extrude one there, or this one here. Go to mirror and I'll select the top plane for that one. Hit apply. Alright, the clock body is done. Let's move on to the next part, or the assembly I should say. Go to File, New, Assembly, and call it Clock. Hit OK. Just going to refit this to the screen there. And now we're going to go to Assemble, and we should be able to see the clock we've been working on. It should be found in Session. Click on In Session and find the clock body. Hit Open and set that to default. Hit the green check mark. Now we need to assemble the other components. So go to Assemble again, and this is where you're going to have to browse for the sample files and Final folder and find the chrono housing. Hit Open. Now using this, you could grab these manipulator handles and get it close and even rotate this around so you kind of have it in position ahead of time. And now you could select this cylindrical face here to this hole. Align that. Then this face here, hit refit if you have problems with rotating out of the screen. And then to that post on the lower right. And then keep having to rotate. Unfortunately, it's not refitting very well here. I'm going to select this face to select that face. Now, instead of distance, I want that to go coincident. So let's max up against there. Let's go to the standard orientation here. Okay, now we could go ahead and make sure that the post holes are on the top, so you're in good shape, and you can continue adding components. So go to Assemble, let's bring in the bracket, hit Open, And again, we can move this to the back where it needs to be. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate it around, grabbing the little rings to get it kind of close to the same way I need to have it over there. And I could select this face here to this face. Now if it's in the part there, we could just grab the manipulator handle, drag it up, and zoom up, and now we could select the underside face and align it to this face. And finally, this whole, oops, unfortunately grabbed the wrong face. Let's go over to placement. Let's go to new constraint, this face to this face, and apply. At this point, we're going to go back to assemble, and we're going to bring in the bolt. Open, and move the bolt over. Close in proximity to the hole. Now we can select the length of the bolt. And actually, we'll rotate it somewhat closer into position, and then select that hole there. Okay, we've got to bring it up. Now rotate this around, select that underside face of the head of the bolt to connect to this top face here, and hit apply. Let's bring in another bolt. Assemble, bolt, hit open. Again, get that close in proximity to the assembly and where you want to drop it. Rotate it. Select the length of the shaft to the hole. Get underneath that surface to this top surface of the bracket. Hit apply. Go back to default orientation, and now we'll bring in some of the other components. Assemble, and let's bring in the hour hand. Could rotate that a little bit. Bring that up. And same thing. Select the hole here, and then select the white sleeve. And then you can select this backside face. Remember, you could drag it out if you need to. And then the black sleeve surface here on the flat one. Apply. Proceed to bring in the minute hand now. Again, get it close. Rotate it around a little bit. Select the hole and select the gray sleeve. Let's drag this out a little bit. And maybe out a little bit further. So we could rotate and get that backside surface. And we want that to go coincident to the white surface. Hit apply. And now for the lens. Assemble. Find the lens. Bring that over here. Rotate it around a bit. Select the cylindrical face of the lens to this face here. And then this face, this flat face, to the flat face here on the ledge. And make sure that's coincident. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and explode this. And for explode, it's right up here. Click on explode, view. And then down below there's edit position. So you can click on edit position. And then you just select the part that you want to move, and it gives you a manipulator handle. So you could drag it in any direction. And so if you want to select more than one object, you could hold Control and drag them out as a group. Drag that up, click on the bracket and drag it down. And just make sure you bring out the hour and minute hands. And so make sure you move those out and then split them up so they're not touching. And make sure once you're done to go back to the A/B button and go to default configuration. And then click on Explode. And make sure that nothing's contacting each other. This is a little close, but that's acceptable. If not, you can always go back here to edit position and reposition it. And then you could click on Unexplode View by clicking on the Explode View again. Okay, and so the assembly's done. That's worth 100 points. So we're on the last leg of this. Let's go to File, New, Drawing. Call this the clock. Hit OK. You could go with Empty with Format and browse for the A format. At this point, go to General, hit OK, left click to drop in the clock, and let's bring in the front view orientation. Under View Display, make sure that No Hidden with Phantom Lines for the tangent edges is turned on. We could also adjust the size, although the size I think actually works really well. If we go to Scale, 0.2 is good. Hit OK. Now if you need to move the view, remember you have to turn off Lock View Movement. Then you could click on it and relocate it. If we look at the drawing, what you need to do here, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this view. We need to recreate this drawing. So we have a front, left, bottom, section, detail. So there's our front, click on it, go to projected, left, click on this again, projected bottom, click on projected again, click on this, right, and now we're transform these. And then also let's bring in a general view again, hit OK, left click over here, and we want the exploded view. So if we go to View State, click on Explode, and View Display, just hit Yes, and make sure that it's set to No Hidden, Phantom Lines, and hit OK. In this case, I actually forgot to save my exploded view. So we can customize it from here, but my suggestion is actually not to. So what I'm going to do is I want to go back to that, and I will fix that in just a second. Anyway, with these views, we could hold Control and select these views. And then right-click and go to Properties. And then we could set them all up to look the same. So no hidden, phantom lines. Hit OK. Let's make a section view, though, right now. Actually, this one does not, under View Display, should have none for phantom. And actually, these do have hidden lines. I forgot about that. So these three. Right-click Properties, and you do want hidden. Okay, now to make the section view here, double click on this view, and we're going to go to Sections, 2D cross section, Add, And here's this little box comes up here. Just hit done. Type in A for the label. And then over here, it's looking for a plane. This is where you could turn on your planes. Click on this little button here, turn on plane display, and refresh the screen. So here's refresh. And now you just select that assembly right plane right here down below. Click on the text and hit apply and close. Now we could turn off the plane display again and just zoom out or refresh the screen. And there's our section view. Make sure you add the section view arrows though. Right click on this view once, and then right click and add arrows, and then click on this view to add the arrows to it. You could at this point click on the arrowheads and drag them in so they're not overlapping on any other geometry. Now for the detail view, go to detail, click in this corner up here at the top, and drag a circle around it. Actually, you're drawing geometry. Middle click, and then left click to drop the detail view. Make sure you center the text. Make sure that this isn't overlapping any. We'll go ahead and finish this off, then we'll address this issue. Let's click on this view and go to Table. And unfortunately, I will not be able to reproduce this here because this is not the same license agreement we have at the school. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to go Table from File. And you should find the BOM table located in that sample files file folder. You click on that. I won't be able to do it here, but you should be able to hit open, and then it will drop in the upper left corner. So you'll get this message on the home licenses, unfortunately, because it was created on a commercial version at the school. Hit OK, and unfortunately won't be able to bring that in and simulate that here, but that would bring it in. You could click on it. You could right click and change the column weights and things like that, the height. Just to show you, if you bring in a sample table here, just to show you what you can do with it. Like if it comes in rather large like this, while it's still all selected, you just right click on any cell and you have height and width. And then you could go in and turn off the automatic height and width adjustment. And so you can put in the height, say we want 0.2. That will bring down the size a little bit, the column. Number of characters, let's say we want 6. Preview it, you see how it gets smaller. So you're able to go in there and transform that to make it fit properly. The table from the file will work just as well. Okay, now we'll put in a note here. So let's go to the annotate and go to note and just hit make note. Click in this little area right here to drop the note, and up here you just get to type your name. And then hit the green check mark 2 times, and it should drop in. Then hit done and return. Okay, now we have to dress this assembly. If you right click in the view, or actually if you just go to up here, this little button up here allows you to go back and forth between the different files. So we want the clock assembly. Click on that. And we want to go back to explode. And as you can see, it didn't remember our explode. So we'll go back over here to add a position and drag this out. And actually, there it goes. It actually did retain some of that. So I'm going to hit the green check mark. And now what you need to do is you need to take a picture of that. The View Manager allows you to do that, this little camera. Hit the camera. And then over here, we go to Explode. And we could go ahead and hit New. It'll say Modified. Do you want to save the default? And this is going to actually transform this as to our default. So hit Yes. And then just hit OK. Update default. And at this point, you could actually hit Close because the default Explode now took over with that. If you wanted to add additional views, you could, but that's all we need. Now we could go back up here and go to the clock drawing, and it should update the view. Now the balloons, normally you have the BOM balloons in the table, and you'll be able to click on this and it will create the BOM balloons automatically for you. But here you could, actually you don't want to create reference balloons. We could go balloon note and put them in, or else I can put them in manually. And I'm just going to show this to you, but basically you would be able to actually bring in the balloons from the BOM. Okay, and if I go to annotate, I could just add them manually here. And there's balloon note. And I want them with the leader. Hit select, make note, select an edge, hit done, click where you want it, and I'm going to call this like the clock is number 1, the green check mark 2 times, and it should create the note. And then again, make note, select this edge, done, click up here where you want to drop the note, and we'll just call that part 2, hit the green check mark 2 times. Hit done, return. But basically you would have little notes for each one of those. This is automatic mostly though, unfortunately, because like I said, I don't have the student edition. I actually have the home edition. It doesn't give me the ability to use the table. Alright, and that at this point you just want to verify by looking at your test that it looks the same. And as you can see, we have all the components. We have the detail view, section view, front, left, bottom. There's the bill of materials, and all the balloons are there with the name. And then just print that out. And so you go up here to File, go to Print. And you could do a print preview just to make sure it looks good. And you'd hit Print. And then here you'd be able to select the ATC 208 LJ 5200 and hit OK. And that completes the final exam.